Sayyidina Maryam was a child that was vouchsafed from her birth by her mother to Sayyidina Zakaria. We're not going to go into that whole event, but an important reality of that event that Sayyidina Maryam was given as a gift from her mother that, Ya Rabbi, whatever is within my belly of this child, I'm asking to give it as a gift in your way, to be of service in your way. And a wonderful daughter was born, and she gave that gift to Sayyidina Zakaria, Prophet of Allah, who was in charge of raising that child. Because of the conditions and the temple only being men, she was locked away where no one had access except Sayyidina Zakaria, who was responsible for bringing her food and taking care of all her needs, whatever she was in need of. He was the one who was in charge of watching over her. And Allah describes, these are long lives, so these are just small captions for us, that a Prophet of God, Sayyidina Zakaria all his life praying and praying for awlad, praying for a child to inherit his reality, inherit his secrets, and asking Allah all the way to his old age, that, Ya Rabbi, grant me a pious child that will inherit from this secret, from my tradition, from my reality, so that I may convey that and this lineage that you have bestowed upon us to continue. And that his main dua, and then given the responsibility to raise Sayyidina Maryam, and then Allah describes something important in Sayyidina Zakaria's life, that he comes in to the niche and she's a little bit older in life, and every time he comes in to the area where she's living, there's a sustenance there. There's food that are not from the seasons and food that nobody brought yet. And he's witnessing time after time that this child, this lady, peace be and blessings be upon her, that Allah raised her infinite heights of realities. Allah describes Sayyidina Maryam that we have chose her above all women in creation, chose her for a very special gift that Allah wants to bestow upon her. And Sayyidina Zakaria is coming into that niche, a Prophet of God, and seeing that there's sustenance miraculously appearing here. One, for him to realize that above every knower there's a knower, and to be tested in humility, because Allah loves humility and humbleness, and Allah is displeased with pride and arrogance. And teaching at that time where the value and the worth of women was at a very low reality at that time. And for a Nabi, for a Prophet of God, asking and coming and seeing that this female has sustenance coming into her niche. And immediately his heart opened and made his prayer in that niche. He sees this miracle, the humility within his heart, the humbleness within his heart, realizes that I've been asking, but the secret is being bestowed upon her. Immediately in that niche he begins to make his dua. Instantly Sayyidina Jibreel immediately Sayyidina Jibreel appears and says, your dua was accepted. That awliyaullah take these stories and they begin to teach us that a path of humility, and that you don't know where the secret is going to lie. One is that reality opened within his heart, his dua was accepted, he witnessed that miracle, and that it came to a woman while he is the standing authority and he is a Prophet of the Divine Presence. His station and reality cannot be matched. But Allah the Divine can give the gift to whomever He pleases. He's not restricted, His hands are not tied, the Divine Presence. But that gift was important for what was going to come later. He witnessed the reality. He made a dua and his dua was accepted by the reality. Now he's held accountable for that reality, because later in life she's going to be tested. And as she's tested in her life, Divine, you're going to have a child, is now coming to her saying, you're going to have a child. And how am I going to have a child when no one has touched me? And Divine says, it's merely going to be. When we order it to be, kun fayakun. What I want to happen will happen, and you will be with child. And important in that reality is that a heavy test coming to her, alayhi salam. Being secluded, always in prayer and worship, and now you're going to bestow something on me that's going to bring many difficulties and hardships, many accusations. And Divine not caring that this life is about Iman and faith. It's not about popularity, it's not about being comfortable, it's not about what's the easiest way. That we are bestowing and you are going to receive. And samina wa atana, I have heard and obeyed, and the child is coming. And the order from Allah from her station so high says that when they begin to attack, you have no permission to respond to the attack. With the power that she has of what Divine is bestowing upon her, she had the ability to answer with Divine energy, Divine lights. She could rebuff any attack that's coming. This is a Divinely gifted being. That one, Allah loves the humble, the standing authority, the wealthy, the powerful. With humility saw a sign and humbled himself to that sign. Doesn't mean only prophets have to be humble. Anybody with power and authority. The Divine loves the character of humility. Witness my miracle everywhere around you. He was humble enough, witnessed it, immediately made his prayer, and his prayer alayhi salam was answered. And the saintly lady of Divine presence, that what we have bestowed upon you, and we're also going to ask of you, that your faith is going to be tested. You'll be given a mission which is not popular, and many people will attack you, and you don't have permission to even reply. Tell them that you have vouchsafed for yourself a fast, that you're fasting and you cannot give jawab, you cannot give an answer. And if it becomes too hard, point to the child. We will inspire the infant to answer them back. But one, she's not, these are levels of awliyaullah that if Allah gives them a test, you cannot go out and try to prove your innocence. For her, Allah said, don't talk. You take the accusation, you take the abuse, and we will resolve it from Divine presence when we want. So they teach us, no, in the face of confusion, that these pious people, their lives are greatly tested. So she alayhi salam gives us an eternal message that you're going to be tested, and in the test that comes to you, maybe Allah will say you can't even defend yourself, because let's see what's coming from the hearts of people. So then now the case is established that she was tremendously pious. They knew her piety, they saw the sustenance coming into her niche, or they heard from it from Sayyidina Zakaria alayhi salam. The whole of the neighborhood, the whole of the town, the Shah knew that sustenance comes to her miraculously, and that our Nabi Sayyidina Zakaria alayhi salam, his dua was accepted in her niche because of the tajalli of her presence, was accepted miraculously and instantly. And then Allah says, then I give a test to her to see now the quality and the character of people. And immediately the response from the people, she comes back with a child, and the response from the people was laid the foundation that we know you come from a very pious background. You are from the descendants of Sayyidina Adam, and that your mother and your father were good, and that you are not from a bad stock. And then begin to attack, what is this? Means for us in our lives, right there we stop and the tafakkur and the contemplation in our lives is that what blinds us from blessings, what blinds us from miracles, what blinds us from our darajats and to be raised is hasad. Hasad is jealousy. The jealousy blocks everything. Jealousy, the character of jealousy, and we sent out an article from big shaykhs and Mawlana shaykhs teaching that the character of jealousy is they want to show that is the character of jealousy. Jealousy, it sees something and is very aggravated by it. Why is this bestowed to you? Why are you or she, why are you special and why am I not special? Why did you get the raise? Why did you get this? Why did you get that? And can be many different issues. When concerning piety and religious people can be very dangerous because it has to do with our darajat and our stations and to be raised in blessings. But in our everyday life, these issues of jealousy, issues of not being able to stand other people, women with women, men with men, places, I don't want to go there, things, I don't want to do that. And they begin to teach us from this story, they knew the piety of this Holy Lady of Divine Presence. They saw the miracle time and time again in their lives. And the character of jealousy is it's a sickness that lays dormant, waiting to reveal itself. It sits there like baking and boiling that, I can't believe, why is that person the one? Why is this the one? Why is she the one? Waiting until the event that Allah is going to send. And going to send to that pious person to make look like they did something wrong. And in the eyes of jealous people, she was very wrong. Means all their life, Allah describing all their life, that you thought they understood you. And Allah wants to say, no, they are very jealous of you. And it only took one instant for the jealousy to come out and begin to attack. That we knew all along something was wrong with you. And that jealousy became so fierce that they wanted to kill her. Became so fierce they wanted to kill the child. Became so fierce they killed Sayyidina Zakaria alayhi salam. He ran from them. They accused him alayhi salam that you have impregnated her. And he hid within a tree and they chopped the tree. Means that the danger, the sickness of hasad, it is the root of our arrival onto this earth. That Azazil thought he was the Khalifa of Allah. He thought he is going to be raised, he is the Imam teaching all the angels. And then Divine says, no, I have created the creation of Adam alayhi salam, bow down. And said, I'm never going to bow. And didn't bow and came to earth. And the Imam of this earth is that fallen angel. He is the one leading, the one teaching, the one who has been here. And he teaches from his characteristics, not from the characteristics of the prophets and the saints and pious people. And he teaches that as I fell, you will fall. I will blind you from the blessings. Because when hasad comes, we don't see any blessings in what's happening. We just have a jealousy and say, oh, I don't like those people. I don't like that place and I'm not going to eat and drink from them. That hasad takes away that rahmah, takes away that blessing and makes us to move, to be far. And as soon as the test comes, I really never liked you. And brings out all the disease and the bad characteristics. Because it's waiting and lying dormant for one excuse to lunge and attack and show itself how it never and how it was always blinded by the hasad. So then Mawlana Shaykh points out in our life that before we can truly grow and before we can truly open the reality of the heart, that we must understand that hasad. that we must fight against that hasad. And the reason why we don't like, and the reason why we keep our distance, and the reason why all these feelings and emotions come within us is from hasad, from jealousy. And when we don't have jealousy and we hear bad news, or we hear something, we're very saddened, because we don't want a difficulty to come out. We don't want those types of issues to be brought about. Instead of a joyfulness that her community had, that, oh, what have you done? Like, aha, we got it, we found out there is something wrong with you. It means they point out in our lives on this holy night, not just about the event that everybody talks about, but the event of their lives and how much they suffered to serve the Divine Presence. And in their suffering they took their test, they kept quiet, they went through whatever they had to go through for the benefit of humanity. And that humanity would see and learn, and awliyaullah would come into our lives and teach us that the biggest danger in our characters is jealousy. And jealousy blinds us from everything. It closes the ears, we don't want to hear no more. Closes the eyes, I'm not seeing the miracle and I'm not seeing the blessings. And begins to distance the heart until the person pulls and withdraws, until they're able to lunge and attack. And as soon as they open their mouth, they attack and say, I never liked this, I never liked that, I never liked that. And these are all the sicknesses of jealousy. As if it was true and sincere love, none of that would come out. That you would go down with the ship, not find a way to save yourself and say, oh, I'm the clever one, I knew all along. The Prophet ﷺ described that if you find something wrong, give 70 examples and 70 dalil to yourself that I must be wrong. That this is a pious person. They did this to the wife of Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.